All right, so obviously since the last time we talked, it was announced that Chet Holmgren is going to miss the entire NBA season due to a limb injury that he's going to need surgery for. It's very unfortunate for him and the Thunder. What do you guys have to say about it?
Personally, I think it was the worst case scenario that could have happened. Um, Feels bad for Chet, but it also could be kind of a blessing in disguise, I would say, because it allows him extra time to hopefully hit the weight room. Yeah.
Gio?
Gio, what you thinking?
Um, just like what you said, what you stated, it could be a blessing in disguise, right? The last couple of years, we've had players miss their first rookie season and come back. Notably for me, it's Ben Simmons and Michael Porter Jr., right? Those two players, they went through their injuries, came back, had they understood what the NBA was, right? Because they were traveling with the team. They were seeing the backgrounds on how the NBA operates. And so they were accustomed to it, and they were able to go through and play their own game when they came back, right? So I think, like Say said, this could be a blessing in disguise, right? He can gain some muscle. He'll get accustomed to the NBA lifestyle, and then he'll come back next season better than ever.
I agree. I think it's also a blessing in disguise, but obviously it's very unfortunate because everyone was excited to see what he was made of. But I look at it as Joel Embiid type situation because he missed about 1 or 2 years, got bigger and stronger, and look at him now. So if the same thing can happen with Chet, the Thunder will be in good shape.
Thanks. I'm just kind of disappointed though now because we're just gonna see the same OKC team as last year.
Yeah, it's just gonna be Shea.
And Lou Dort.
Okay, yeah.
Can't forget Louis. But yeah,
Yeah. Any last thoughts, Gio?
No, I just got a question real quick.
Go
Does
ahead.
OKC have their pick still, or
I think they
or is
still,
it Houston?
yeah. Huh?
Is it Houston's pick? Did they like trade it off?
No, I think that's still
They
theirs.
still got theirs.
I think so, yeah.
All right, cool. So then, obviously, I think they're going to be the same team as last year. They're going to be possibly a lottery team, right? And then get another additional player to help Chet and Shea. So, and obviously Lou Dort, big Lou over there, right? Help those guys out. Get another great player. You know, you got a great class coming out, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah. I mean, obviously they weren't going to be great this year, but I think they would have been better with Chet. But either way, they would have been a lottery team, and they're building for the future with all these picks they have. So
Right.
it's not really the end of the world for them, I would say.
I think they need a veteran presence though to help the players develop.
Yeah, but they don't want that. They just want young players.
Yeah, I don't understand that at all.
But a lot of teams are going that way, like the Rockets, but it's not working. So I would say you need at least one veteran presence to, lead the young guys.
Yep.
Because if you look at
And
the
they have
Lakers, you look at the Lakers before LeBron came, they were young and awful. And then LeBron comes, look at them now.
also just need like an idea of what they want.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
because right now they have all these young players, but none of them have an identity because they don't have a way of going about it.
Right. I mean, you can draft all the players you want, but you got to sign a free agent eventually. But unfortunately for OKC, it's not really a premier destination for free agents.
But
So I don't know what they have to do to get a veteran, but I'd say they definitely have to get one at least. Go ahead, Gio.
Might be a crazy thought. They have plenty. They have plenty of picks, right?
Yes.
All right. In the next coming drafts coming up, right?
Yeah.
Like through 2025, 2026 too.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Who's gonna be there?
Yeah, that's true.
Bronny
Bron.
James,
Yeah.
right? That veteran player might be one of the best players, or is second best player of all time right now. LeBron James, right? he could obviously help that team out, win them a championship with these pieces around him. I think that can happen.
I don't know if they win a championship just by adding LeBron. They need
You
a
don't
lot
think
more than just LeBron.
you don't think a seasoned Shea, right, going into his prime, Chet coming into a couple years in the NBA, Lou Dort possibly going to be like defensive player of the year soon. That
No,
team won't
I don't think they'll
win a
win a
championship.
championship. No, I'd see them making the playoffs. Yeah, they'd make the playoffs and go to around second or third round, but I don't see them making the finals and winning it.
But do you also see some possible trades happening in order to make that team possibly a championship contender?
If LeBron goes there, yeah, he'll make changes 100%.
Right. And you think that he'll keep Chet, Shea, and Lou Dort for the most
Yeah,
part?
those three are untouchable, I would say.
I would say for that team. Then you got Bronny and LeBron. You got a couple picks you can trade off, right? And a couple key pieces possibly later on. You never know what can happen.
That's true. It's a hypothetical. I'll give you that, Gio.
I'd rather see something else though, personally. I'd rather see Spider go over there.
Yeah, but Spida ain't going to OKC.
I was thinking that, right? But he's not that veteran that's going to win a championship. I'm thinking of someone who's already been there, right? And knows how to win a championship, even if it's like, I don't know, Kyle Lowry's headed towards the downward of his career right now, but like it's got to be someone who's won a championship before and was a key part of it, just so that they can help OKC win. I don't think Donovan Mitchell would do that. I think he'd get them far, right? But at the same time, you're losing all your picks, I would say, for the most part.
Yeah, because
And it's necessary for them to win in the future, I feel like, than to just be a middle of the pack team.
I would trade Kyle Lowry for Lou Dort and Shea. You're not doing that?
I don't know. I don't know if I would do it if I was a Thunder because Kyle Lowry's what, 37?
Yes, sir.
So the combined age of Dort and Shea, I wouldn't do that. That's like my future gone for what, 2, maybe 3 years.
Don't worry, we'll throw in a pick.
No.
Think about it. Lou Dort and that Miami Heat team, that culture.
He would be nice, yes. Your best bet is to hope that the Thunder let him go.
We'll trade for him. I'll trade the house for Lou Dort.
But yeah, back to D Mitch. I don't think he would want to go to OKC because he's made it clear that he wants to win now, and OKC isn't in a position to do so, I would say.
But at the end of the day, Utah might just pull the trigger because I don't see a better package coming from anyone besides OKC.
I've heard Washington maybe, but that besides them and the Knicks, I've heard no one.
Like because OKC has so many picks that
Yeah,
isn't
and they
really
want
going
like
anywhere.
7 picks back too.
And then you throw in like Darius Baisley, Poku if you really wanted to, and then like 5 picks.
Yeah, I mean, if it's their best package, I wouldn't be surprised. But all I know is the Thunder have to do something because if they don't, I don't see Shea staying there for long.
And he can come to Miami. You know, get buckets on offensively for us alongside Tyler. He can lock down some guard position. Go back to being his OG point guard. Be a great time.
Yeah. Got any thoughts, Gio?
I got some crazy thoughts.
Go ahead.
Yeah, right. Shea, right?
Mm-hmm.
His contract could end, right? Around the same time, I'm thinking saying he's going to Miami, right?
Yeah. Just like
for me,
everyone.
though, a logical answer would be Milwaukee, if any team, right?
Okay.
Because I think Giannis, I don't think he's going to win another championship as of right now in the next 2 to 3 years. unless that team makes drastic changes. Just because I don't think really Drew Holiday's been playing well, but I don't think he can sustain this at least for the next couple of years. They got some great veterans, and Brooke Lopez and Serge, right, Ibaka, but those guys are getting older as well. How long can they stay in the NBA? For the Bucks to keep Giannis, they're going to need another great young player to play with him. What player other than Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, right? Just because he's a young star coming into the league, and I think he would help Milwaukee and Giannis win a championship, possibly, right? And it would help keep Giannis in Milwaukee long term, even though he did say he could possibly play in Chicago, right? So to keep him long term, you need another key player to keep him there. Shea's that guy.
I agree. I think it is realistic because you could put Shea at point guard, Drew at shooting guard, Middleton at small forward, and then Giannis at the 4 with Lopez at the 5, or whoever you want at the 5, really. But I mean, it's going to be a while until Giannis leaves the Bucks, given that he just signed a 5-year max extension, unless he ups and requests a trade. But he's not that type of guy to me.
Right. That's why I'm saying in the next couple of years, I think when that time does come for him to get a new contract, I think, to keep him there, you're going to need a key player. And I think Shea will be that guy at that point in time.
I agree. Because if you said Drew didn't play up to par, which is true, in the playoffs, he did not.
Right.
And unfortunately, they didn't have Chris Middleton, so they couldn't afford Drew playing bad, which is what happened.
But Drew did play amazing in their championship run, though. So
yes, 100%. If they can get that Drew back, then I could see them winning maybe one more.
Right.
The thing is, though, with that whole Shea going to Milwaukee, if he was going to, I don't see it happening unless they give up Drew Holiday. Just from like a money standpoint. Because Middleton's making the bag.
Yep.
Giannis is making the bag.
Yep.
Drew Holiday's on like a good bag where he's making like 28 mil, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then Shea, he's no slouch, and he's still a young player that's going to get the bag.
Yeah, he wants the max.
So I don't see it happening that well unless they kind of keep the same format of their team, but just swap old Drew Holiday for the young Shea that's just as good at that time, hopefully.
Yeah, that is very true. I didn't think about the money aspect of it.
But Miami, we can free up some bread. Probably not, though, after we have to pay Bam and Ty.
Yeah, that's true. Anything to add, Gio?
Well, I was just going to change it real quick, speaking on money.
Go ahead.
Speaking on money, right? RJ Barrett just signed his new contract. What does this tell you guys from a Knicks perspective, right? And a league perspective? Because personally, I don't believe he kind of deserves this money as of right now. I think he still needs to prove himself. But is this showing that the Knicks believe in this player? Or is it like kind of like a trap, right, to trade him?
I think it's 50-50. I do think he deserved the extension personally. I think he's proved himself enough to get it. But I think that they are still trying to trade him because I've heard rumors that even after the extension, they're still including him in Donovan Mitchell trades that they're trying to propose. So I think it's 50-50. They're telling him that if we do have to keep you, we do believe in you. But if we don't have to keep you, then we're not going to.
I'd have to disagree a little bit. I think with this, they're putting more trust into into RJ. I think it would have been easier to package RJ Barrett with his old contract into a Donovan Mitchell trade. So I think by doing that, they're kind of telling Utah, all right, we're getting sick of you guys wanting so much. So they're trying to pressure them back to maybe accept a trade. I think RJ is just like the piece to have confidence. But then they'll turn their back real quick and trade him, like Jake said.
Yeah. I do agree with them. They are putting more trust in him, but I wouldn't be surprised if they still trade him because they really want to win. But if I were the Knicks personally, I'd trade Julius Randle over RJ Barrett in a heartbeat.
I'd trade anything but RJ in New
Yeah,
York right now.
literally, because like if you look at their pieces, they're like, yeah, Julius played great in their playoff year, but the way he played last year, if that continues, they're going nowhere.
And Bronson, I guess. I guess we gotta keep him around for a little bit.
Yeah, because you just signed him. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Crazy.
What do you think, Gio?
Just like you guys, I think it is putting trust in him, right? That's one aspect of it. Another one is they are trying to make it look like they trust him, right? And they see a lot of potential in him, making his trade market a lot bigger than what it is right now. And another thing, though, right? Why I don't believe he deserves this money right now, because he's only got it left, right? He needs to diversify his game, get better, right? Get rid of some flaws in his game. And then I believe he deserves the big bag, right? But as of right now, they made the playoffs once in his career, right? He hasn't really performed at a superstar level, right? So just right now, I don't believe he deserves it, but later on, for sure.
Yeah,
But
that's fair. Oh, go ahead. I was just saying that's fair.
I think they paid him to anticipating a jump like that if he does stay in New York.
Right.
I expect a jump like that too because he's shown flat improvements in every year he's been in the league.
That second half of last year too, I thought he really improved. It was kind of like the only thing in New York.
Yeah, exactly. But it does make the Donovan Mitchell trade harder because they're going to have to give up more pieces now than they were having to.
Yep.
And the Jazz already rejected RJ Barrett and 2 first-round picks. So I don't know how much they want, but it seems like they want the house.
Yeah, they're crazy.
I mean, yeah, D Mitch is good, but like to want this much for him, I wouldn't do it.
And the thing is, Utah hasn't even changed their team enough to contend with Donovan Mitchell.
Bro, it's like they're putting everyone on the market too. Like Jordan Clarkson's on the market, Bogey's on the market. Like, what are you trying to do?
They're like they're trying to go into that OKC Houston Rockets mold.
But like, I don't understand because like it's not like they haven't had success. They made the playoffs for years in a row. It's just they haven't been able to get past the first round.
Yep.
So you shouldn't blow it up. You should just get pieces to help you get past the first round.
Like getting a Jeremy Grant would have been massive for them because
Yeah,
they're already close. That's just another helping piece, especially instead of going to Portland.
right. That's why I think Donovan Mitchell's like mad and like, yeah, get me out of here because like the front office, they don't know what they're doing, it seems like.
No.
What do you think, Gio?
About Donnie,
Whatever you want to.
I really, it's tough for me because they want a lot for him.
Yeah.
Again, another player that he has proven his worth in the NBA, but he hasn't proven anything other than being a regular season type player, right? He has averaged 35 points in the playoffs. He's been that guy in the playoffs, but his team goes nowhere. It's more, I think, of individual type of player, right? As of right now, and his statistics, than a team winning type of player, right? Where he'll do anything to win. I think he's doing more things for individual aspects of the game right now. And then hopefully he'll turn into a team player later on.
I wouldn't say the lack of success is on him though. I would say it's on his teammates, especially Rudy Gobert.
I would say that, but at the same time, to be a leader on your team, you have to hold those players accountable, like Rudy Gobert. I don't
Well,
really
obviously it was hard for them after the whole COVID thing because like obviously they didn't like each other.
right, but at the same time, if you want to win, doesn't matter what your relationship is, you got to try to win, right?
Yeah.
Just like in 03, 04, Kobe and Shaq, their relationship was broken, right? They still try to win. Obviously, they didn't win the championship that year, but they still went to the finals, and that's it. So
Yeah, that's true. We'll see what happens. Obviously, it's gonna be a while until something happens, but we'll see.
Yeah, I feel like there's more moves being made in the NFL right now than the NBA.
Right.
Yeah, facts. That's just because it's cut week, though.
And trade week, apparently. There's been a few trades.
Yeah, that's true. But before we move to the NFL, I was going to talk about one more thing in the NBA, which was John Wall's Rico Hines runs. Do you guys see that?
No, I didn't watch that. I saw he like talked after it though, right?
Yeah, he like, well, I saw a video where he was like talking smack, like they were backing off and letting him shoot. He's like, you can't do that anymore. I'm back.
Bro,
So
I'm so excited.
I mean, it does look. I will say that I wasn't high on John Wall, but it does look like he is fully back and fully healthy to his old form and looks just as good as he did in his Wizards days.
I'm so excited for it. I can't wait for him to actually be able to play. And like him not being able to play for this long,
Yeah, bro. Because
he's just gonna put everything out.
exactly, and as a fan too, like it's gonna be so great to see him again because he was so fun to watch in those Wizards days. Like if he
The
can get back to that,
360
bro.
layup.
If he can get back to that, like 360 layups, dunks, bro, it's gonna be so fun. And obviously, given what he had gone through, like saying that he almost committed suicide, after seeing that, I'm like, yeah, we gotta root for this guy.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And when he tears it up and he's a top 10 point guard again, and he's a top 20 point guard in the league again, it's gonna be a great time to see.
Facts. I just wish it wasn't on the Clippers, but oh well. But I know you're a big fan of John Wall, Gio. What you gotta say?
For me, right, in his prime, I would have said he's the top point guard in the league.
Okay.
That's my opinion. I thought it was at the time, John Wall, Russell Westbrook, Kyrie, and then Steph.
Okay.
Just because Russ was so dominant, 2014 through like 16, 17, right? John Wall was John Wall, right? Seeing John Wall do this, I'm not shocked at all, right? I believe he was going to get back to his full form. I've been watching him in the offseason for a couple years now, right? Getting back into shape, working on his game. Each time he was, slowly becoming John Wall again, right?
Mm-hmm.
Last year was awful, right? Because he sat out. We didn't actually get to see the healthy John Wall. I think he would have dominated really on the Rockets. He would have shown his numbers. He would have shown statistics, just like previous John Wall would have when he was on the Wizards. This year's going to be scary. All I got to say is if this Clippers team does not win a championship, it's a bust. These guys got to blow that team up. I would probably say the entire blame goes to Kawhi Leonard and Paul George if they do lose. But anyways, John Wall, right? He's gonna have an epic year. I think he's gonna show you guys, why he's John Wall. He's gonna do the Dougie, right? He's gonna do John Wall things, 360 layups and all that. And now he's got a shot too. You gotta watch out. That's all I gotta say.
Facts. Personally, I'm not. I don't see the Clippers winning the championship. That's just my inner rivalry coming out. I can't say they're gonna win, but I will say that I could see them making it. If this John Wall plays like this throughout the entire season, they will make it past the second round. I would say they make it to the Western Conference Finals.
I would say if John Wall's even like 75, 80% of what he used to be in Washington, I think they have a very good chance of making it to the finals as long as Kawhi and PG actually play.
Right. And that's why I'm saying I don't think they make the finals because they haven't shown me that they can stay healthy, one. And two, Paul George always disappears in the playoffs. Until he proves that otherwise, I'm not going to believe in them.
Which is fair. I would have liked to have seen John Wall somewhere else, personally, than LA.
That's fair. Everyone knows where that is if you know Saya. And watch the pod. I would have liked to see him on the other LA team, but is what it is.
Gio would have liked to have seen him who knows where.
Gio just wants to see him play, bro. Gio just wants to see him play. He doesn't care where he is. But
also, I would have put John Wall third, personally.
Really?
Yeah.
Who's your top two then?
Top two? Huh? Russ and Steph.
Yeah.
No, at that time.
Yeah, Russ and Steph.
You not
Russ
having
or
Kyrie over
Steph.
Steph.
No.
Oh my goodness. All right. It's all good though.
Kyrie was top 3 too. Not even gonna lie.
Oh no, I'm not bugging. Kyrie is 4, I would say, behind John Wall.
Kyrie was 4 with all the things he was doing.
I think he was 3.
That's when he was still playing with LeBron. Kyrie didn't
That
have
was
his
before
chance to like
LeBron.
smash him.
That was before LeBron.
What do you mean before LeBron? You're talking like 2012?
Oh no, you're right.
2013?
It was the first 2 years with LeBron when John Wall was really at his peak. I would say.
But sheesh.
Hey. Everyone got their own opinions, but we'll leave it at that.
It's all good. It's all good. But at least we got Russ in top 2, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So Steph, he's top. I would say he's top 3, top 4. Same with Kyrie. John Wall for me is number 1 on your guys' list. He's a little lower, but so those 4 guys you can't mess around with.
Facts. But moving to the NFL, like Saya said, there has been a lot of moves. Today, Jalen Reagor did get traded to the Vikings for just picks, a 7th-round pick and a 4th-round pick that could de-escalate to a 5th-round pick if Reagor doesn't meet stats. But what do you guys think about this move for the Vikings? Because personally, I'm not a big fan of it. I haven't seen much from Jalen Reagor. I don't really like him. I don't think he has potential, but what do you guys think?
Yeah, you want me to go first or second?
Go right ahead, too.
Okay. So the way I see it, I think it. So I don't see it based off how the Eagles were using him. But at the same time, I also don't trust Jalen Hurts to throw the ball to Jalen Reagor where he could actually do something as much as I trust Kirk Cousins.
That's true.
And I think giving up a 4th and like a potential 5th or 6th.
It was like a 7th and a 4th, but it could de-escalate to a 5th.
But yeah, I don't see those as like concrete picks where it ruins the trade. Like if it was like a 2nd or 3rd.
Yeah.
So I think it's a low risk, high reward potential type thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not angry with it.
That's fair. I think they're going to use him more as special teams as they are as receiver because they said they're going to use him as like a punt returner, kick returner type guy, as well as catching balls.
That could be the move.
Because dude does have speed. It's just that the Eagles didn't know how to utilize it, and like you said, Hurts can't throw deep.
No.
So Kirk Cousins being able to throw deep, that could make a big change for the Vikings because like now they got Thielen, Jettas, and Reagor. Who are you going to guard?
Yeah, because it's going to leave Reagor open to where his numbers are going to go up because they have to guard Justin Jefferson. They have to guard Adam Thielen.
Yeah, because like before Reagor got there, Cousins was really just passing the tight ends, but now he got Reagor. What do you think, Gio?
I don't know. Like you guys are saying, right? It's a good move for the Vikings. His stats are going to go up. Last year, right? He was tied 141st, right, for receptions at 33. He was 134th in yards, 91st in touchdowns, on 116th in average yards, right? For me, I would want to see him play right with Jalen Hurts, right? Just because I believe they got AJ Green, right? Or
AJ
not,
Brown.
AJ Brown, my bad. Yeah. AJ Brown, right?
Yeah.
So I would have loved to see that matchup and seeing who would have been that number 1 guy. But at the same time, just like Nick said, I trust Kirk Cousins throwing the ball more, right? That kid's going to get the ball more, and you never know what he can do. So once he makes those statistics, because I believe he will on the Vikings, that's what's going to happen. So
yeah, that's fair.
But yeah. We also saw another trade a few days ago.
Yes, sir.
Oh, you're talking about the Eagles trade?
Yeah, where they sent
Where they got that Chardner Johnson safety?
Yeah.
What'd they send?
I don't know. It's not a big time deal.
I think they sent like a 5th-round pick for
Yeah,
him, and now their defense gets a lot better because that kid is good.
but yeah, you know,
I think the Eagles are proving right now that they are in win now mode. And as a Cowboys fan, I hate to see it, and I hope they're not good, but I think they will be good.
potentially.
It
But I
it
still don't
depends
think
on
so.
it depends on Jalen Hurts, if we're
I
being
still don't
honest.
think so.
Yeah, because I get it. AJ Brown's great, but you can only be so great if you don't have a great quarterback.
Right.
And
So I need to see Jalen Hurts improve his accuracy before I say that the Eagles are going to win the division because they have the potential to win the division. It just depends on their quarterback.
and it's so tough for him too, because like if he had a good running back to go with him, it would open up the pass game more.
Right.
But Miles Sanders just ain't really it for me.
I mean, he's not bad. It's just he can't stay healthy.
No. And they don't really have anything to help him out to open up the pass game.
Right. Honestly, if I were the Eagles, I'd probably like try and trade Miles Sanders and play Boston Scott because Boston Scott outplayed Miles Sanders last year easily.
Yep.
But and Boston Scott's also a pass catcher, like a dump down type of guy that you can give the ball to.
Give that boy the ball and he'll make plays.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see what happens. Obviously, I hope the Eagles aren't good because I'm a Cowboys fan, but we'll see. What do you think, Gio? Any thoughts?
Yeah, like who do you guys think is gonna win that division? And you think they're gonna have a winning record?
I mean, I'm biased. I think the Cowboys are going to win it again. And yes, I do think we'll have a winning record. We won't be as good as we were last year because we lost talent, but I can see us going either 11-6 or 10-7.
For me, Jake hit it on the head. I have the Cowboys going 10-7. What do you think, Gio?
You know, that's a good pick, right? Obviously, the Cowboys are the favorites, I think. I'm gonna pick a sleeper, just in case. We'll see what happens.
Mhm.
Danny Dimes.
Oh no, you bugging.
Danny
Yeah, you're
Dimes
tripping, bro. They're going to
and
be
that
last.
giant. No, hear me out. They just
No.
acquired that new
Hold on.
coach.
I would have heard you out if you said Washington.
Yeah,
Nah.
facts. Because Washington's going to be gaps ahead of the Giants. The Giants,
You think so?
yes, Danny is bad. If Tyler Taylor stayed healthy, he would have took over within 4 to 5
Really?
weeks, I would say. And the Giants did nothing to improve their O line, so Saquon's still going to suck, and they're going to have no time to throw.
I think they're gonna be the sleepers, like I said. Obviously, the favorites are the Cowboys. But really, the Giants, I think, are the sleepers. You got Danny Dimes, you got Saquon. I think he could actually have a monster year finally, since being injured a couple times. So we'll see what happens.
Nick, what do you got to say?
I think you are heavily bugging. I haven't seen anything from Danny Dimes to show me that he could do anything to compete with the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Their only hope for them is for potentially being good is Saquon. But like Jake said, the O-line had no work at all done. So it's gonna have to be Saquon breaking like 3 to 4 tackles just to gain yards. And then defensively, they're very lackluster as well. They don't really got anything defensively that they don't have anything defensively to help.
Outside of Jabril Peppers, they got nothing.
Even Jabril Peppers, I don't think he's very good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's their best defensive player. That shows you something,
He's just not good.
right? I mean, personally, I got Cowboys, Eagles. They're 1A and 1B. One of them will win the division, and then it's going to be Commanders third and Giants fourth, like always.
Buddy.
So
Don't
here's my
sleep on
thought.
Washington.
I wouldn't sleep on Washington either, just because Ohio State, Chase Young, that boy's a monster.
I'm not sleeping on Washington. I'm sleeping on Carson Wentz. He hasn't shown me anything in the past few years.
They still got Scary Terry for Carson Wentz to throw to.
All right. So real quick, Nick had the cliffhanger. That was pretty obvious this time. If you can go down and make a comment right now, Nick, the cliffhanger, say it, right? But gotta thank and shout out Justin Andrews. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but Justin Andrews, right? Ended my curse, right? After they made that comment, I have not made a cliffhanger yet, so we'll see what happens in the next couple podcasts. But stay tuned. Hopefully, I don't have a cliffhanger soon.
All right. Going back to what we were talking about. Yes, Carson Wentz does have Scary Terry to throw to. Who else does he have to throw to, though? That's the thing I'm thinking about.
Curtis Samuel, who's not a slouch wide receiver.
Okay, but can he stay healthy? Can his groin stay healthy?
That's a very good question. But if healthy, he's a good option.
Yes, I agree.
Antonio Gibson at the running back position.
Yeah, he's good.
I don't really trust him running the ball as much as I trust him being more of a pass catcher.
Right.
I don't think Antonio Gibson is going to start. He's a punt returner right now. It's gonna, but yeah, he's going to start. But before the Brian Robinson incident, he wasn't going to start.
Right.
I would say.
I would agree. Also, we got a shout out and hope he has a great recovery.
Yes, he was back at the team facility yesterday, so far so good. Hopefully, he can play eventually this year.
Mm-hmm.
But that is unfortunate for the Redskins. But yes, I would say Antonio Gibson. I agree with you. He's not a great runner, but he is a good pass catcher. But the thing for me with him is he fumbles too much.
Yeah, maybe. But offense doesn't always win division titles.
Okay, but their defense was great last year. They didn't win. Weren't even close to winning.
They also had Taylor Heineke at quarterback.
That's true. But do you think Wentz has more weapons now than he did on the Colts?
No.
Okay, so why do you think that Wentz is going to have a better year?
I just think he has a better wide receiver to go to this year.
That's fair.
Because I think Scary Terry's one of the top wide receivers in the league, whether he gets his recognition or not. But yeah, I don't think they're going to win the division. But I believe they can be second in the division.
Okay, so you believe they can be better than the Eagles?
Yes, but the Eagles can also be very good.
Which is why, personally, I have the Eagles second. But like we said, it all depends on their quarterback play. Both teams' quarterbacks play is what it depends on, I will say.
True.
Here's my last thoughts on this. The Eagles have the Eagles curse, right?
Yes.
Okay. What can go wrong will go wrong with the Cowboys, as we know.
That is true. Yes.
Then you got the Giants, right? We all know what the Giants do. Then you got the Commanders, just like we were talking about. Really, who else do they have other than Scary Terry, right? That's why I see the Giants can possibly be the sleepers and pull this off. You never know what can happen. Obviously, they won't make a wild card, right? But they could possibly win the division and get in with a losing record, I believe. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, but how can you put the Giants over the Redskins or the Commanders?
Yeah, sorry about all our, Redskins things. We're still used to saying Redskins. We don't really talk about Washington. So we're gonna work on that.
That was their team name for my whole childhood, sorry. But you got Chase Young.
Right.
Not only that, I can't put the Giants over the Cowboys in my head. Like, you just can't do it.
I know you can't, but I can personally.
But talent-wise, you can't. Like, even with our roster right now, we are still better than the Giants.
What I've seen in the last couple of years is the Giants make a push at the end of the season where they'll win a couple string of games that they might lose, right? So they can shock you in that aspect of it. And I think if they get a couple of strings of wins, right, in the beginning of the season, then I think they got a good chance to win the division.
I don't think it's gonna happen. It's a Hail Mary, but Gio's known for Hail Marys, so we'll let it slide.
I also personally think you're bugging. If it was more like, oh, the Giants won't be last in the division, we could have more of a debate. But I see them being last in the division personally.
So yeah, here are the Giants' first 3 games. If you say they got the Titans, that's a loss. They got the
Okay.
Panthers. They could beat the
They could beat the Panthers.
depending on which Baker shows up. They
Right.
got the Cowboys. That's a loss.
They could beat them. They
No.
usually split it, right?
No, we've been sweeping them. So I'm going to say it's a loss.
Okay. We'll see.
But they could beat the Bears week 4. I will say.
They could beat the Bears.
But then I'm going to say they're going to lose to the Packers because Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
And then they play the Ravens. That's also a loss.
I could agree. Yeah.
So, I mean, they could go maybe 2-4 in the first 6 weeks, but I still don't see that as being enough to win the division.
I could see that.
I also agree. Giants are sitting last place in the division.
Yeah, I mean, the Giants are just consistent last. The rest of them remains to be seen, but every year people go in knowing that the Giants are going to be last until they make drastic changes.
Let's leave it to the fans, right?
Okay. That's fair.
Comment down below on if you think the Giants will do anything this season or who will win that division. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and switching divisions to the AFC. Obviously, there was a very bad situation with a Bills player. Their punter, the quote unquote punt god, was accused of raping a 17-year-old, gang raping a 17-year-old at a college party last year. And obviously, the Bills released him and just signed another punter in Sam Martin. Very unfortunate because this punter did have very high potential. But what do you guys have to say about the situation?
It's tough. It's terrible. If it's true, it's really bad. Buffalo did well by cutting him, I think.
I agree.
Sucks for the NFL. Gotta go through another situation potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah. It should be acceptable.
Gio?
I find it interesting, right? Obviously, it's a bad scenario, but I find it interesting that the NFL, right, like Nick was saying, has more of these issues than the NBA, right?
Yeah.
Why is that to be? Is my question. And either the NBA just keeps their situations quiet, right? Or they just are able to like control their players better. I don't know what the case may be, right? But they obviously have less scenarios in the NBA than the NFL does, right? And something's got to happen.
I agree. I think the NBA just does control their players better, and it's simply because they have a better commissioner. Roger Goodell is not. This is why people hate Goodell, because he doesn't take accountability when he should or hold players accountable, and that's why these things keep happening, I would say.
Is it that, or is it all? It could be that, right? But is it also the fact that you only got a 15-man roster on a basketball team, right?
Yeah, that's very true.
People, at least, right? How many people
you get at least 15 for NBA and then 53 in NFL.
53 in the NFL, right?
Yeah. And there's 2 more teams.
Right, practice squad and
right.
So yeah, that's also
numbers are up.
That's also a very big factor, I would say, because it's easy to keep tabs on 15 players, but 53, yeah, no.
But also, I do agree with you that Goodell is also terrible. So
yeah, it goes both ways. It's not only on Goodell, but it is also on the players. But for me, it mainly falls on Goodell. He has to be a better commissioner if he wants to remain the commissioner.
I would say that, but I honestly think it just looks bad for the NFL in general, right? Because you have so many cases coming out every single year. It's not like once in a blue moon, right? You got plenty cases coming out every single year, and it's just bad for the NFL. They got to fix something. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just who the players are, right? Like, but something's got to happen because it's coming out way too often now in the NFL.
Yeah, and it's not only players; it's also coaches, like the John Gruden situation.
John Gruden situation. You got the owner, Robert Kraft, right? Got
The
all these
Miami
players,
Dolphins.
Miami Dolphins. It's either a corrupt system and it just got to get cleaned out and then pretty much rebooted, or something's got to change where everything's controlled. So,
yeah, I agree. What, any last thoughts, Saya?
Yeah. Y'all hit it pretty well. Just gotta be better.
Yeah, hope you listen, Roger Goodell. Be a better commissioner.
I'm talking directly to you, Roger.
But I will say that I would not be surprised if I see a notification that the Browns sign this punter, because it's their tendencies.
I saw like things that they did. I'm pretty sure those were memes, but
Yeah,
like,
they were memes because of what has been happening. But they
Yeah.
signed Kareem Hunt after the fact that he beats his girlfriend.
Mhm.
Then they signed Deshaun. I wouldn't be
trade
surprised
for
if they went after this punter.
right.
not at all.
So, I mean, I wouldn't say that he definitely does not deserve a job on any team for the rest of his career, but we'll see what happens.
I don't, if it's true, I don't believe he should play another game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think he should
Yeah.
play at all
Right.
in the NFL or any league.
CFL, whatever it is, XFL, no doubt, no one should be playing like that.
No.
You know, even Johnny Manziel, obviously he's had another chance, but even him, I don't think those types of players deserve another chance. So
I agree. But we'll see what happens. I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised if the Browns did that.
right.
So.
You guys got anything else you want to talk about? Gio?
Yeah. Sorry, my bad.
You good?
House of Highlights, right? Did this poll in this tournament with I believe it was the top 15 players, right?
Mhm.
Of all time in the NBA. And then they had the players go against each other, and the poll would be, who do you think should be ranked higher? And say it's Michael Jordan versus Larry Bird. Obviously, you would, pick Michael Jordan. And then whoever ranked or whoever got the highest in the poll percentage-wise would get a win, right? So with as many games as they did play in this tournament, they had their final results out, right? And the finale was Michael Jordan versus LeBron James. At the time, they were both undefeated. So,
Do you have like the whole tournament by any chance?
do I have the whole tournament?
Yeah.
I don't have the whole tournament. I have some parts of the tournament, right? So as of August 8th, right, you had Michael Jordan with 4 wins, LeBron James had 4 wins, Kobe had 4 wins, right? They were all undefeated. Steph was 3-1, Kareem was 2-1, Magic was 2-2, Bill Russell was 2-2, Shaq was 2-2, Wilt was 2-2, Tim Duncan was 1-3, Larry Bird was 1-3, Kevin Durant was 0-3, Hakeem was 0-4, and the Big O, Oscar Robinson, right, was 0-4 as well. And that was your top 4. That was your top 14 as of August 8th. And obviously, I believe the rankings did change for the finale, right? You had Michael Jordan at number 1, 13-0. LeBron James went 12-1 at number 2. Kobe was number 3 at 11-2. Kareem was 10-3 at 4. Magic was 8-5. Shaq was 8-5 as well at 6. Curry was 8-5 at 7. Larry Bird was 6-7 at 8. Bill Russell was 4-9 at 9. Tim Duncan was 4-9 at 10. Will Chamberlain was 4-9 at 11. Hakeem was 2-11 at 12. Kevin Durant was 1-2 at 13, and Oscar Robinson was 0-13 at 14. What are your thoughts on that ranking? And do you believe people should be ranked higher on that list or lower?
Personally, I think both Duncan, Hakeem, and all those guys like in that area should be ranked higher.
Who would you put them over though? Because you got MJ, LeBron, Kobe, Kareem, Magic, Shaq, and Curry at the top 7.
I mean,
Tim
personally,
Duncan's over Curry.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Personally, Curry's still playing. I got Tim Duncan over Curry.
There's
would
like a
agree.
case for it, like why Curry's better.
Mhm.
Like I get that, but Tim Duncan also has 5 rings. He's
Right.
back-to-back MVP.
Right.
Yeah. Well, you said
Um,
this was a voting system, right?
It was a voting system, right?
Okay, so obviously, it was the younger generation voting, so they're gonna vote
I
Curry.
would believe so, and I also believe there's bias, especially since he just won the championship.
Yeah. And these kids, I would say, like, they didn't grow up watching Tim Duncan, so they don't know how good that they were.
Right.
yeah, true.
I just thought it was interesting that they did have Steph at 7 and Bird at 8, and then you also had Timmy at 10.
Honestly, like Bill Russell won 11 championships. He should be higher too.
Bill Russell did win a lot, so but for me, it's like, would you rather have Shaq higher or Bill Russell?
Yeah, I'd rather have Shaq.
I think
Wait,
Shaq's higher personally.
Where was Shaq?
He's at 6.
Who's
Yeah,
above him?
but I wouldn't have Bill Russell like all the way as low as he was though. Is what I'm saying.
Right.
He's not above Shaq, but he's not that far below him either.
Right. I think it's minor details in their career, right, and accolades that they got that allow these players to be higher than some others, right?
Yeah.
But for me, Bill Russell, like you said, he's won a lot. He was very dominant in his generation. So is Shaq, though, right? Shaq was in probably one of the hardest generations I feel like was in basketball, and he still dominated, and that's why I think he was ranked higher.
That's fair.
But to answer your question, Nick, MJ, LeBron, Kobe, Kareem, and Magic were all ahead of Shaq. I think that top 5 is pretty solid in my opinion.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree.
I can't hate on that. Too bad. I can't
Yeah.
hate on that.
Right? Especially you can, switch out Kareem and Magic at 4 and 5, maybe put Kobe at 3 or 4, right? Depending on who you have at 3. Because I honestly think maybe Magic would be at 3. I know this is who should be ranked higher, right, for their career, but I think Magic's career was shortened, right?
Yeah.
Obviously. So I think Magic would have had a better career than
Yeah.
Kobe possibly, and that's why I would have him at 3 ahead of him. But then I would have Kobe right at 4, like right beneath him. But that's my opinion.
That's valid.
But I can't believe all the hate Kevin Durant got.
Yeah.
Ranked at 13.
But like I said, this is a younger generation, and they do not like Kevin Durant. That's shown.
I feel like it's a lot of favoritism rather
Right.
than like actual people voting on him.
Right.
Yeah, like if they didn't know the player, they're not going to vote for the player.
And that's why I wanted to discuss this, because as basketball savants, right, I would say us 3, we would understand and how to rank these guys accordingly to their career
Yeah.
and what they got right in their poll and what they didn't. Obviously, it was a poll. It was on percentage and favoritism and who you thought was better, not based on the actual career of the player. So for me, would you have Durant or Hakeem higher, right? Just because Hakeem, I believe, won 1 title.
I think, yeah.
What was it, 97, 98? When
Somewhere in
Michael
that
was
range.
just coming back, right?
Yeah.
From his retirement.
Mhm.
KD's got 2 titles, I believe.
Yeah.
Right? 17 and 18.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Durant's an all-time scorer, one of the best scorers of all time. Hakeem might be one of the best footwork players of all time, right? In the post, might be one of the most dominant. It's very tough for me. I would have Kevin Durant ahead of Hakeem just because of all the other accolades he has been having in his career, like the MVPs, right? And scoring, right? Titles.
That's fair. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Kevin Durant, but yeah, I would have him ahead of Hakeem as well.
Right.
I
But
feel like it.
oh, go ahead.
I feel like it depends. So, are you looking at it as like a career-based accolade thing, or are you looking like who's a better basketball player?
I'm looking at it as their entire career.
Right. I'm looking at his career, right? But also as the player, just like in Magic and Kobe. Like I said, Magic's career was shortened. And I believe Magic should be ranked higher just because of that alone. I think he would have won more championships. But it really
No,
depends on what you're thinking.
I'd say Hakeem's higher than KD though.
You would.
I would. Like I know KD's very, very good, but KD has never led the team to the finals by himself.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh boy,
that's true.
Hakeem did that.
Yes. Yes, he
That's
did.
true.
So I can see that as well. That's why it's fun to do this because these players, either at the very bottom or at the very top, are very interchangeable to me. And then obviously the middle players are interchangeable as well. Because Larry Bird, for me, I would have him ranked higher than Curry because he's got 5 championships. Obviously, his career at the end of it, he has 5, right?
I think, yeah.
Right. I thought you guys were looking at me like I was bugging again. So Larry Bird, he's got 5, right? Championships. One of the best scorers of all time. Obviously, one of the best shooters of all time. Best trash talker of all time, right? Steph's only got 4 rings. Steph had 2 of those rings because of Kevin Durant and that stack team.
No,
You're
Steph would have won
Had
2
those
more
rings
without
first.
Kevin Durant.
You're saying
He was-
Steph Curry would have won 2 more without Kevin Durant?
He still would have had he would have had 4 without KD. Yes, because
I think
Really?
I think he would have won at least 1 more without Kevin Durant because they already won without him. Even Draymond Green said, "We don't need you on the team. We won before you came here. If you don't want to be
Right.
here, leave."
LeBron would have stole one of those other ones. I think.
Yeah, that's fair.
I
But-
think they would have split the championships, right? Just like 2015-16. I think LeBron and Kyrie would have won 17 as well because they were so unstoppable. They even beat the Kevin Durant team on Christmas, right? So I think beating that unstoppable team, they would have just, kept on cruising in that 2017 season. I don't know. It's tough for me, right? Because like we said, it's based on their career as it happened. And he did have Kevin Durant. We don't know what he would have done. We can only assume what he would have done without Kevin Durant. I think that diminishes those 2 rings alone. And that's why I believe Larry Bird should be ranked higher as of right now, right? Because he did have solid teams. He did have to go through the competition and equal competition. It wasn't like it was a stacked team against no one, right? And was an unstoppable team. He had to fight. Kevin McHale had to fight. All those guys on that Celtics team had to fight through injuries and whatnot to win those championships.
Yeah, that's true. I did just Google how many championships he won. He actually won only 3. He got to 5 and won 3. Yeah.
Gotcha. That's what it was.
But I will say that given that, you're not diminishing Steph's legacy because of Kevin Durant, but you could also do the same for Kevin Durant's legacy because he wouldn't have won those 2 games without being on the with those 2 rings without being on the Warriors.
Right. And that's an argument you can put for him being below Hakeem. And
Yeah.
actually, Oscar Robinson, that man won, right? Averaged a triple-double. He could honestly beat Kevin Durant on that 13th spot.
Yeah, honestly, I was surprised that Robinson was all the way at the bottom because, he was the triple-double king until,
Right.
6 years ago or something like that?
Right. And he had 0 wins in this
Right.
entire tournament.
That's crazy to me.
The disrespect he has, I think that's crazy. He's easily, for me, I believe he was in a lot of, obviously I don't think we're savants. I was making a joke of that. And I think that we do know quite a bit about basketball, but actual savants of basketball had Oscar Robinson in their top 10, either in the late top 10 or in the mid top 10, right? And I think he should still be there. But at the same time, for him to get 0 wins, I think that's ridiculous.
I agree. I think he should be in the top 10, somewhere in that range.
Right.
What players would you have him be in though? Because I'm sure they just put them up against each other.
That's true.
Right. They did. So what player would I have him beat? It's tough. Maybe Kevin Durant. Hakeem, possibly. I can't see him beating Tim Duncan, Bill Russell, Larry Bird, Steph Curry, Shaq, Magic, and so on.
No.
On the top 10. So it's tough for me because those top 8 and 9, right? And even 10, Tim Duncan, I don't see him beating them.
No.
But he deserves to be in that top 10. That's the thing. Like, I just don't know who to take out.
Yeah.
I agree.
Stuff.
It is tough.
It's a good
But
thing D-Wade wasn't on.
Top 10 of all where would you have him actually ranked top of all time?
D-Wade number 1.
That's right. I forgot. My bad.
That's biased. Okay, unbiased.
Sorry, but the Big O, I think I'd put him 9.
Big O
Yeah.
over
who?
Bill Russell.
Over who?
Yeah.
Bill Russell was number 9 right now.
Yeah, I would put Big O over Russell.
Okay. And then you got Timmy at 10, which is tough.
No, Timmy's got to be up there.
Okay.
Who's above number 9?
Larry Bird. He only won 3 championships, as we do now know, right? He's been to 5 of them, only won 3. And then you got Steph Curry at number 7.
No, yeah, I think I'd slide him to 10.
You slide him to 10, bring up Timmy at what? 9
Yeah.
or even 7 ahead of Steph. Take out Larry in your top 10. Is that what you would do?
Larry Bird?
Yeah.
No.
See, that's tough though. Like you would have, I believe, to my understanding, you would have Tim Duncan at 7 spot, switched out Curry and Tim Duncan.
I want Duncan higher than that, bro.
But you can't put him ahead of Shaq and Magic.
I'd put him ahead of Shaq.
Would you? All right. So move Shaq down to 7. Tim Duncan at 6. Then you've got Oscar, right, at 10, right? Bill Russell's still at 9. And now you're left with Curry and Larry Bird to go into that 8 spot.
Yeah, Curry's sliding down.
He's sliding down. He's going to be 11th.
Yeah.
All right. I can understand that.
That's valid.
But yeah. Tim Duncan's underrated.
He is very underrated.
Very underrated.
I will say he's not better than Kobe, but that's me being biased. People say he is. It's an argument to be had, but to me, he's not. But he is very underrated, I will say.
I think just because he played in like a methodical like game, right? And he wasn't like Kobe Bryant as attacking like he was, right? He played very calmly, very methodical. Yet he still won. He was quiet for the most part. That's why I think he's underrated. People don't see him as that champion, that winner, that mentality, like LeBron, like MJ, like Kobe. But he still did win it his own way. So
yeah, very true. I think they give too much of the credit to Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili too. Like they had big parts in it, but they don't give enough credit to Tim Duncan.
I honestly think, I know we got a fan that might agree with me. Those 2 players, Manu, right, and Tony, those guys are also underrated in my opinion.
Yes, I
But
agree.
at the same time, I think, like you did say, those 2 players did get more credit than they deserved for the most part. I think Manu deserves all the credit in the world because of what he did as a leader. But I think Timmy really led that team. And I think without Tim Duncan, right, I don't think they might have been the 8 seed, maybe 9 seed, really, in the playoffs.
Yeah.
They definitely had no rings if Timmy D wasn't there.
Yeah,
sure.
I agree.
Best power forward of all time.
Especially with the first like few years without Tony Parker and Manu. Like he won by himself before they
Right.
came.
Right.
So, I mean, I think it's crazy that people underrate him as much as they do, but that's just me.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, anything else you want to touch on?
Fins up. Heat to the finals.
Not even close to NBA season, but okay. Gio, did you want to talk about tennis or not?
I can touch on it real quick. Serena Williams, right? It's her last year. Last US Open. She just won her second match of the Open tonight, right? Wednesday. She looked very dominant. Not the fact that the match itself was dominant, because it did go 3 sets. The first set was a tiebreaker. Second set she lost 6-2, and then she won the third set. I believe it was 6-4 or something like that. 6-2, 6-3, something like that. But Serena Williams, her serve looked very dominant compared to the past couple of years. She's only played, I believe, 6 matches this entire tour, right? So as of right now, these past 2 matches really resemble the old Serena Williams. And looking back at it, I wish she could still play. But as of right now, she says she's done after this Open, and hopefully we can just keep on watching her, and hopefully she doesn't lose.
Yeah. Hopefully, I'm not really big in tennis, but I am rooting for her. So hopefully she gets as far as possible.
She is one of the GOATs.
100%. 100%. Gio, you got a segment?
Yeah. The Nike, right? They stated how they're gonna increase the price of their Nike Dunks, at least I believe by $10. Really? I don't think the quality of the shoe is gonna get that much better. How can you make that quality much better with only $10? Really, I think they just want to up the price, make a better margin of profit, right? I believe it's going to go to their lows is going to go from 110 to 120. Their highs, I believe, is going to go from 125 to 135. And obviously the PEs and whatnot, their specialty shoes, right, are going to increase add on another $15. So that Nike Dunk Low from being 120 is going to go up to 135. And I don't think that's worth it. I don't think the quality of the shoe, like I said, is going to get that much better from a $10 increase. I believe that either the shoe will drop in sales, right, or the profit margin on reselling those shoes will drop dramatically. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, in the video game world, it's just waiting on NBA 2K23 right now. That's going to drop this upcoming Friday, September 9th, a week from this Friday. So looking forward to that. And yeah, that's about it.
How's the Madden game though?
Madden game? The Madden game's fire. I like it. If you don't have it, I highly recommend it.
Gotcha. In music, a shout out DJ Khaled. He dropped an album, but didn't really give it a listen. The song I'm mainly thinking about is the song Juice WRLD Did by DJ Khaled.
That song's fire.
Very, very good Juice WRLD song. DJ Khaled kind of ruined it, I would say, with that intro, but Juice went off.
Yeah. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you all in the next one.
Yep. Thank you for watching. If you liked it, you can drop a like. Let us know your thoughts in the comments by dropping a comment. And Gia.
Hey, make sure you guys subscribe. We all know you're watching the videos because we can see. Just hit that subscribe button. It's so easy. And we'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Peace. Shout out Say Illustrations. Go follow him on Instagram.